Welcome to the program this week. I am Amarachi Ubani. Remember last week we talked about the blasts in Borno and Yobe State that killed at least 20 people? Security chiefs met during the week to determine a new strategy to put Boko Haram out for good, latest by December. Let's keep our fingers crossed on this one and support the military in this quest. Too many people have died, and that's just not right. However, on today's program, our discussion is focused on one aspect of security. It does not have anything to do with bombs going off or the battlefield, but one non-governmental organization, the African Youth Initiative on Crime Prevention, has been working within communities to stop crime before it happens. We'll be speaking with the group's executive director and founder, Mr. Chris Ibe, on how he's been doing this. iCrib is also one of the 30 recipients of grants ranging from $5,000 to $9,000 for various non-governmental organization projects across the country. They have 6 months to execute the projects, but will be informing the American mission from time to time about their progress. Meanwhile, North Korea is talking tough to the United States, saying it is ready for any war waged by the U.S. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, made the comment during the 70th anniversary of its ruling Workers' Party on Saturday. We'll have more on this later. But this past week, the United States and 11 Pacific Rim nations agreed to the Trans-Pacific Partnership Pact, TPP for short, following marathon talks. Now, the deal, when ratified, could reshape industries, change the cost of products from cheese to cancer treatments, and have repercussions for drug companies and automakers. That's the program in a wrap. Let's check in on what else is happening in diplomatic circles. Welcome back. North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, seems to be under some illusion the United States plans to wage war against its forces. Over the past few years, the country has been amassing heavy military equipment, thought initially to scare its neighbor, the South, but President Jong-un could have a much farther target. And during an event marking the 70th anniversary of its ruling Workers' Party, the country displayed its military might with a parade.
The parade was nothing like the ones North Korea had displayed in recent past. Kim Jong-un told faithful North Koreans that the ruling party's revolutionary armament meant they were ready to fight any kind of war waged by who he called the U.S. imperialists. And then he went on to extol the feats of past leaders and the ruling party. Over the years, North Korea has been amassing heavy military equipment and testing new ones. It has tested missiles capable of reaching the United States and Japan, but much of its activity has been thought to threaten South Korea, America's ally of the two Koreas. There were even rumors the country was developing nuclear weapons. A high-level U.S. military official said during the week that Washington believed North Korea had the capability to launch a nuclear weapon against the U.S. mainland, and the U.S. was ready to defend any such attack. Back to the parade, a battery of North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missiles was the highlight of the weapons display, although it is not known if they have been successfully tested. The parade was attended by China, a major ally to North Korea in Asia. Relations have, however, been strained between the two over North Korea's nuclear program. But on Saturday, China said it was willing to seek closer communication and deeper cooperation with the North and pushing for a long-term, healthy and stable development of the Sino-DPRK ties. North Korea is believed to have conducted 3 underground nuclear tests and is threatening a 4th, despite international condemnation and sanctions. In September, it announced it was restarting its main nuclear facility, Yongbyon, and improving its nuclear weapons in quality and quantity. It claims it has made a nuclear device small enough to fit into the warhead of a missile.
Welcome back. Now, this made headlines last week, though it happened many miles away. The new Trans-Pacific Partnership, an agreement between 12 Pacific Rim countries seeking to lower trade barriers such as tariffs, establish a common framework for intellectual property, enforce standards for labor law and environmental law, and establish an investor-state dispute settlement mechanism. It's not the first time this deal has been talked about. Back in 2011, its aim had been to enhance trade and investment among TPP partner countries, promote innovation, economic growth and development, and support the creation and retention of jobs. And while U.S. President Barack Obama and a few other countries are on board with the new deal, with South Korea considering becoming a part of it, the American people need a little more convincing.
Years of effort with 11 other nations, we reached agreement on a new trade deal that promotes American values.
For U.S. President Barack Obama, the deal would work greatly for the good of the American people, making it easier for American businesses to sell their products abroad.
95% of the world's consumers live outside our borders. 95%. They want to buy American products. They want our cars, our music, our food. And if American businesses can sell more of their products in those markets, they can expand and support good jobs here at home.
Although ultimate winners and losers from the Trans-Pacific Partnership are still unclear, some Republicans are worried about its impact on industries including dairy, tobacco and pharmaceuticals, highlighting the battle ahead to win votes. U.S. President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden have pushed for the deal, arguing it would help the United States increase influence in East Asia and counter the rise of China, which is not part of the pact. For U.S. presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton, the deal could kill jobs.
I have said from the very beginning that we had to have a trade agreement that would create good American jobs, raise wages, and advance our national security. And I still believe that's the high bar we have to meet. I have been trying to learn as much as I can about the agreement, but I'm worried. I'm worried about currency manipulation not being part of the agreement. We've lost American jobs to the manipulations that countries, particularly in Asia, have engaged in. I'm worried that the pharmaceutical companies may have gotten more benefits and patients and consumers fewer. I think that there are still a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it really comes down to those 3 points that I made.
However, Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto has hailed the deal as providing new economic opportunities in the Asia-Pacific region. He congratulated TPP nations for having the political will to push towards a final deal.
En el proceso cabe recordar que el Perú es uno de los países.
Peruvian President Ollanta Humala also hailed the deal as providing emerging economies like Peru with more inclusive and sustainable development. Peru is among Latin America's fast-growing economies. Surging copper production saw economic growth beat expectations earlier this month of 3.26% in July from the same time a year ago. China has not been excited about the deal. It respects the rules of the TPP with the goal of building a larger free trade zone of the Asia-Pacific region. According to one Chinese expert, the country is lagging behind developing countries in terms of many rules in the area of economy, trade and investment. And China needs to face the reality and accelerate the development of its own trade mechanism and rules. South Korea, on the other hand, says it will examine the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal once it is revealed and consider joining it to maximize the national profit.
There are hours to prohibiting child labor and
Back in the U.S., President Barack Obama is confident the deal will pass Congress, but he will need to count on Republicans for support.